us in the spirit of perfect harmony. We are the Center for Spiritual Living West Georgia. We study and practice the philosophy and science of a mind we know as God. And with our spiritual presence and participation in our service here this morning, we create a higher state of consciousness, rise above all the negative energy that may have prevailed this past week, and manifest love. We know love is synonymous to God. Our master teacher, Reverend Dr. Sandra Jackson, will now proceed with our service. Reverend?
Okay, thank you so very much, Mike. Good morning, everybody. Glad to see you here. Let's just take a moment to give thanks that you are here, that you are present, that you are alive, that you are well, that you are in your right place at the right time, doing the very right thing for you. So let's just pause on that. Just think about that for just a moment. And then take a deep breath. Breathe in. And then do what we always do every Sunday. We begin by knowing, believing, and accepting that right here, right now, right where we are, God is. With the spirit, the presence, and the very life that we live. Is evidenced through our very breath. And so we just simply relax into this moment, into this thought, into this awareness right here and right now. We open ourselves and become available to the indwelling presence of spirit, knowing that it always divinely guides and directs us as we allow it. And so it is guiding us and directing us this morning with gratitude and thanksgiving for all that is occurring in our lives, for all that is to occur in our lives, for the choices that we make, and the roads and the paths that we walk. We just give thanks for that. And we know that this morning's service serves us. That's what a service is. It is here to serve us. And it serves us in the way in which we allow it to serve. So we just open our hearts and minds this morning to be fully and completely available to that which is for us to hear, to know, to believe, to accept, and to realize, so that our lives may be more of what we choose and we desire. And so with gratitude, knowing this is the truth that we are unfolding this morning, I release this word now, knowing it is done. And bless each and every one of us for being who we are, where we are, and what we are about. We are about being the full and complete expression of the Spirit in form. And so it is. Amen. Okay, good morning. Good morning once again. And so Dorothea is on it this morning. All right. You're muted.
Apologize. CSL West Georgia is a joyful global community where everyone belongs. Through our unique spiritual teachings, we provide a safe environment to experience compassionate living. Declaration of principles. I believe in the unity of all life and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. There is one life of which I am a part, one intelligence which I use, one substance which takes form as my life. And so it is.
It is unmuted.
Cynthia and
Good
Connie
morning.
are.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. It's wonderful to see you. All of us are very excited about our new space that's coming up, and our board and other people are working very, very hard to make this a totally amazing space. And what a miracle. And I wanted to do a song by Jana Stanfield this morning that represents the amazing work we're doing, okay? We will do amazing things with the choice each new day brings. And with every step we take, bless the progress we will make. The reason we live is the very gift we give. Love your life and love your dreams. We will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. We will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. We will do amazing things. Oh, the places we will go, and the people we will know. Don't worry about the where or how. We don't need to know that now. We're on the right track. No need to look ahead or back. Just enjoy what this day brings. We will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. We will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. We will do amazing things. We don't have to work it out. Just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a while. Sometimes the deepest answers come when we're out there having fun. So close your eyes, take a breath and smile. Amazing, amazing. We will do amazing things. Do you believe it? Sing with us. Amazing, amazing. We will do amazing things. One more time. Amazing, amazing. We will do amazing things.
Yes, we are. And yes, we are already doing amazing things. Thank you so
Yes,
much. That's a great song for today. Thank you.
Yes.
Kathy is our reader for today.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, West Georgia. Today's reading for Sunday, October the 3rd, is Ahimsa. Ahimsa, nonviolence, was the noblest expression of truth for Gandhi, or properly speaking, the way of truth. Ahimsa and truth are so intertwined that it is practically impossible to disentangle or separate them. They are like the two sides of a coin, or rather a smooth, unstamped metallic disc. Who can say which is the observed and which is the reverse? Nevertheless, ahimsa is the means, meaning is the truth. No, I'm sorry. The ahimsa is truth is the end. Ahimsa is the bedrock of Satyagraha, the irreducible minimum to which Satyagraha adheres and the final measure of its value. In the traditional lore of India, there is a story about a sannyasi, a Hindu monk who was sitting on the bank of a river silently repeating his mantra. Nearby, a scorpion fell from a tree into the river, and the sannyasi, seeing it struggling in the water, bent over and pulled it out. He placed the scorpion back in the tree. But as he did so, the creature bit him on the hand. He said he paid no attention to what the creature did, but went on repeating his mantra. A little later, the scorpion fell again into the water. As before, the monk pulled him out and set him back in the tree, and again was bitten. This little drama was repeated several times, and each time the sannyasi rescued the scorpion, he received a bite. It happened that a villager, ignorant to the ways of the holy men, had come into the river for water and had seen the whole affair. Unable to contain himself any longer, the villager told the sannyasi with some vexing, "Swamiji, I have seen you save the foolish scorpion several times now, and each time he has bitten you. Why not let the little rascal go?" "Brother," replied the sannyasi, "the fellow cannot help himself. It is in his nature to bite." "Agreed," replied the monk. "You see, I cannot help myself either. I am human. I'm a human being. It is my nature to save." Ahimsa is usually translated as nonviolence, but as we have seen, its meaning goes way beyond that. Ahimsa is derived from the Sanskrit verb root han, which means to kill. The form hymns means disastrous, to kill. The prefix is a negation. So ahimsa means literally lacking any desire to kill, which is perhaps the central theme upon which Hindu, Jain, and Buddhist morality is built. In the Manusmriti, the great law book of Hinduism, it is written, Ahimsa Pramo Dharma. Ahimsa is the highest law. It is, as Gandhi puts it, the very essence of human nature. Now, nonviolence is the law of our species, as violence is the law of the brute. The spirit lies dormant in the brute, and he knows no law but of that of physical might. The dignity of man requires obedience to a higher law, to the strength of the spirit. Ahimsa is not the crude thing it has made to appear. Not to hurt any living thing is no doubt a part of ahimsa, but it is it is the least expression. The principle of ahimsa is hurt by every evil thought, but undue haste by lying, by hatred, by wishing ill to anyone. It is also violated by our holding on to what the world needs. Thank you. Reverend Sanders. Reverend
Thank
Sanders.
you. Thank you. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you for persevering. I know that's a long, for all of us, it was very long, but I wanted it because the thing is that Gandhi created a whole movement around ahimsa and sahagrahi. And the thing is that the whole thing, the bottom line is truth and love. And so he lived that. He did not just speak that, he lived it. And the science of mind is about learning to live in harmony with the principles that we teach. And, you know, for many years, people just spoke the word, and maybe we still do. We know the words. We say this and we say that. We say things like change your thinking, change your mind. Change your thinking, change your life. And yet at the same time, we don't practice the things that will allow us to change our thinking and consequently our lives. So we go along continuing in the life that we have, complaining that it's not what we want. And yet at the same time, it's what we keep creating. And so I wanted to give a little bit of a history lesson today. So walk with me, okay? Remember what I said last week, okay? So if you understand, shake your head or do this, you know, and if I can't see your faces too well, so, you know, go like, ah! Okay, all right, I don't know what this is. Okay, all right, so most of us are baby boomers, or either at the beginning or the end of the baby boomer thing, okay? And so if you were born, you know, if before the 90s, okay, let's say before the 90s, then you were taught in school a system of beliefs that were based on 16th and 17th centuries, 16th and 17th century scientists. Okay, so you remember Descartes' I think, therefore I am. How many remember that in school? Okay, and and then remember Newton and the apple, okay, and gravity, discovering gravity. Okay, and so we learned all of these things. And the thing is that Descartes came first, and he was a French philosopher and a scientist and a mathematician. And he looked at the universe and he looked at the world. And oh, by the way, he also is responsible for those of you who had to take analytic geometry. He was responsible for that. But at any rate, he looked at the world and he, you know, he said, humanity thinks. And so that's different, you know, from things in the world. So the things that you see and touch, that's matter. Those things are in the world, okay? And so then Isaac Newton came along and he said, you know, he noticed gravity. And between the two of them, they came up and said that the universe is made of all these laws, okay? And so you can study the laws and you can understand them and you can manipulate them and change them and you can live in accordance with them. And so they gave science the purview of studying matter and these physical laws, and they gave religion, because they couldn't understand how humans' minds work at the time, because you're like 16th, 17th century, they gave that purview to God. So what they did was they separated our living, the life we live, the physical form, from the spiritual form, okay? So God then becomes separated from the world, right? So you and I grew up with a belief system that said God is separate from humanity. So therefore we say things like, well, why does God allow stuff like that? why are babies born, with various kinds of birth defects and whatever? And then science came along, of course, said, well, DNA, et cetera, germs, they had all that stuff, but that's all still physical, right? So the thing is that we have grown up with a belief system that somehow or another we are victims of a precocious God. How many of you know I grew up with God's testing you? Okay, you do something wrong, or you have problems, it's like, well, God is testing you. And so therefore, this is why you're having some of these problems. So that's a belief system that says, here you have the physical world and here you have God's world, and never the twain shall meet, so to speak. Now, people, mystics like Meister Eckhart, that came before these guys, he was in 12th century, they understood more than this. They put things together in a different way. But at the same time, these two scientists basically ruled the Western world in terms of thought, which is what we are steeped in. Then Einstein came along in the 20th century and created a whole new reality. Now, how many of you remember you studied E equals MC squared? We said that like they put it on t-shirts and everything, but people didn't know what it meant, okay? In relationship to what these other guys had and what Einstein is saying, he's saying energy, okay, and mass or matter. E equals energy, M equals mass or matter, and C squared is the speed of light squared or multiplied. Okay, so what does this mean? Basically, that fundamentally energy and matter are fundamentally the same. They are essentially one. Okay, what does that mean for us though? All right, stop and think of water. Okay, he's saying if you have scientists call water H2O, right? So H2O has forms. It can show up as a liquid, okay? We drink water, all right? There's water. Then go to your freezer and what do you find? Ice, okay? You put the water on the stove and you boil it. What do you get? Steam, okay? There may be others, but those three we use almost daily. We have some interaction with, right? It's all energy. It's all the same form. And Einstein is saying, just because things are in a different form doesn't mean that their essence is different. And then the quantum, that gave birth to a whole group of science called quantum physics. And so now we have this new science, and they look at atoms. And we grew up with believing that atoms were solid, right? Quantum physicists, however, have discovered that atoms are not solid, that they, at the subatomic level, okay, at the subatomic level, they are empty space and they're mostly energy. So now what does all of this mean? It means that they're reimagining reality. It means that they're seeing that what we see, what we experience in the world is subject to the energy that we bring to that. So when the scientists started looking at these subatomic particles, they noticed that, light shows up as waves or particles. And I was like, how can a light be both wave and particle? And so finally they, I'm capsulizing this, okay? All right, and so the waves, it depends on who is looking. It depends on the observer whether the subatomic particle shows up as a wave or as a wave or a particle. Okay, so what's happening here is the scientists are finding that at one time, remember, I don't know if you remember, but when I was teaching science, it was like science did things and they repeated it over and over and over and over and over. And if you got a bunch of different scientists from a lot of different places, then they all repeated the same thing, then they said, okay, this is reality. Okay, this is real. This is a good study. But now they find that what happens is that the observer at the subatomic level, the observer makes a difference as to whether what something appears as. Okay, so what does this mean? It means we have a whole different level of beliefs that we can't deal with. It means that our system that we grew up with, okay, was one of duality, energy here and form here, okay? We grew up with that. God is here and humanity is here. They are separate. But this new belief system that is being proven by scientists is that it's all one, which is what we've been teaching. And they call it a unified field. So your thought affects what you do at the subatomic level. Well, the subatomic level is what? It's in your mind. It's invisible. It's energy. Okay? So, but we're used to relating to what's physical, right? Keep that in mind. So our belief systems are based on the separation, but we have grown up, we have witnessed in our lifetime a shift in belief systems from one of separation to one of oneness and unity. So here's, let me experiment with you. Here's an idea. How many times have you gone looking for something and you've looked and you 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 got tired of looking, and then you went back to where you started from the beginning and there was whatever it was you were looking for? I've done that with my keys. I can't tell you how many times. Okay. Why? Because your mind did not see them, and then your mind did see them. Things appear when you see them. Okay? How many times have you thought of somebody and they've called you on the phone? Okay? Or you've run into them in the grocery store or something of the sort, right? What is that? We've called it what? Coincidence. Oh, it's just a coincidence, but it's not. People, things happen in our lives because we are observing and we are experiencing. Reiki. How many of you use Reiki? How many of you use prayer? How many use energy medicine, spiritual healing? 20 years ago, 25 years ago, these words weren't even in our vocabulary. Now that we use them all the time. Okay, I was like, I remember Carolyn Mace. Remember her? MYSS. She came out like the 90s with this book, Anatomy of Prayer, I think it was called. And everybody went like, wow, this is amazing stuff, okay? Dorothy, you probably remember that book, right? Okay, everybody was like, and what was she talking about? She was talking about energy medicine and how she was able to do things with her, with you just moving energy. Well, you know, that's what prayer is. When I first started in Science of Mind, they used to have a yearly conference in Southern California, in Los Angeles, that they brought all these various people together, scientists and religious kind of people, everything. They brought all kinds of people together, and they would have sessions on how prayer works. And they would put, you know, things in people's heads and all this kind of stuff, measuring stuff, you know, like brain waves and whatever, trying to figure out, tap into that energy field that the scientists, they had not learned about yet. Stop and think about this. We are living in amazing times, but they are also scary times. Why are they scary? Because people are having to shift their fundamental beliefs that we are separate. And part of those fundamental beliefs in separation is we are separate by our size, our physicality. We are separate by our income and social status. We are separated by everything, by being an individual. We're all different. We look at out the world, we say we're all different. And what do we see? Is we see separation. But what is all this teaching us? There's only one. There's one consciousness that we're all a part of, one energy that shows up in multiple forms. So just like water shows up in different forms, so too do you and I. We are all made from the same stuff. The same stuff. And yet at the same time, we look at it because we have been grown up with this belief system of separation. We look at each other and say, no, you're different from me. You're different from me. We are all energy. All of our bodies are made of atoms. And all of our thoughts affect our physical experience. And people are repeating this over and over and over in their own personal lives. We are all in the process of shifting our beliefs from the dualistic belief that matter is separate from God and learning to live in a unified field of science and oneness. And that is what the science of mind has been teaching. It's been teaching it all along. And that's why this year we've been working on, what is it called? I forgot. Anyway, it's about, ancient wisdom and evolutionary vision. Why? Because this is not new. There were people before Descartes. They were like the 15th, 16th centuries. And so Meister Eckhart, he was in the 12th century. And what did he say? He said, people should think less about what they ought to do and more about what they ought to be. If only their living were good, their work would shine forth brightly. That's the 12th century. Okay, what are we saying now? You have to be that which you choose to be. Do you see? So there's like this full circle. They separated us through our belief systems, and now we're coming back to an awareness that we are one. And this month, we're talking about the divine community. And the science of mind, I don't know if you know this, but let's just talk a little bit about what the CSL has a, where is my paper on that? The global vision for CSL, the Centers for Spiritual Living, is a world that works for everyone. And the idea is that we are all being called to a higher state of consciousness, but not just consciousness, but action as well. And that humanity is about waking up to the magnificence. Listen to the songs we sing. Amazing things. Why can you do amazing things now that you couldn't do in the 50s? Because you are aware. What does all of this mean for us personally? It means that we are at choice. We are at choice. That nothing in the world is happening to you without your consent. You are not a victim. No matter what has happened in your life, you are not victimized. And we have had some awful things happen to us. Really awful things. Why? because we have believed that we are separate from one another. When you believe that you are not connected with another human being, I don't even want to tell you the things that you could do, but you know what you can do. We all do, because we've all done them for some reason or another. We've hurt people's feelings. We've said things that weren't kind. We've done things that have been damaging to other people. Why? Because we thought that they were not the same as us. We thought that they were separate because we grew up with this belief system that said they were separate. It was a lie. It's a lie now because you know the truth. But it wasn't 50 years ago because we didn't know the truth. We are shifting and we are experiencing that shift. It's sort of like, you know, when a tsunami hits, there's like this rigid landmass, right? There's this rigid landmass, and then there's this storm out to sea, which Dorothea has this beautiful, quiet water behind her. But a tsunami is like an earthquake, right? And it crashes against the land, right? Because the land is what? It's stable, it's solid, it's not going anywhere, okay? So all this water crashes against it and it damages. That is what we are experiencing right now because we have this belief system of duality that is being crashed into by this belief system that says what? We are one. And there's those people going like, no, no, no. God is up there and judging everything. And there's others who are going like, no, heaven is within you. Didn't you hear what Jesus said? Right? And so we've got this clash of belief systems. And we who know the truth have got to stand firm and know that truth. And what is the basis of that truth is what Gandhi was trying to say. What Meister Eckhart was saying is love. Why? Because love connects us one to the other. Stop and think about the people that you love. What do you do with the people that you love? You bring them close. You don't push them away, right? You bring them close. You do things with them that bring joy and happiness. You want to see that they're happy. You want to embrace them. You're with them with compassion. You share with them in a way that you don't share with people that you don't like. You see? And what Gandhi is saying is that we are all one, and because we are one, you can have a relationship, a loving, accepting relationship of people who are different than you. Dr. King said, when I speak of love, I am not speaking of some sentimental and weak response. I'm speaking of that force which all of the great religions have seen as the supreme unifying principle of life. Love is somehow the key that unlocks the door which leads to, get this, ultimate reality. Ultimate reality. That's what the scientists are telling us. That's what quantum physics is. Ernest Holmes said, love is the only final security in the universe. Love is the greatest healing power in the universe and the only thing that binds people together in a community of spirit. We are bound together because we are human beings, and we are bound at the atomic level. And we are seeking learning, growing into an awareness that that which is true on the atomic level must also be true on the physical level. And it is up to us to choose to make that a reality. And so therefore, we are talking today about the divine community. And what is the divine community? That divine community is a recognition that that which we are at the subatomic level physically is the truth of who we are spiritually. When I was teaching, they were trying to decide whether children were motivated, and you probably, maybe your children or you know people or you were involved too. The behavioral scientists were busy trying to figure out whether positive or negative reinforcement motivated children. That's an external dualistic belief. It's mechanistic and it's dualistic. And it's based on that problem, on that belief. But one of the scientists or the behaviorists who was studying that was, I have so many pages here today, I can't keep them straight. Okay, so was B.F. Skinner. He was real popular at the time. He said, I did not direct my life. I didn't design it. I never made decisions. Things always came up and made them for me. That's what life is. That is a total Descartes model. That's totally based on the belief that we are separate. And hey, whatchamacallit, Raymond Charles Barker wrote a whole book on the power of decision. He's saying life is not in my hands, that life happens without my participation. But we know better now. And what's that saying? When you know better, you do better. You today can no longer go around going like, God help me. Because where's God? Where did Jesus say the kingdom of heaven was? He said it was within. That energy, that divine energy is within you. He called it heaven. We call it energy, but it's within you. You are at choice as to the life you live and the experiences that you have. And if they're not to your choosing and your liking, then guess what? You can change them. You can change them. You are no longer a victim of the circumstances that you're in. You may need to forgive. You may need to pray. You may need to study and learn. You may need to do a lot of things to help change your thinking so that you can change your life. Believe me, I am studying to this day. I have been studying for the last 50 years. It does not stop. And where I started in the science of mind in the beginning, it was I was being given a belief system that I had no evidence for. Ernest Holmes says experiment. Why is he saying experiment? Because we didn't have the quantum physicists telling us there is only one. We had, Einstein going E equals MC squared, but who the heck knew what that meant? Okay, nobody understood the impact that it has in terms of belief systems. We do now. We do now. So you and I are energy, and we have to use that energy in a way that allows us to create community. Why? Because at the atomic level, we are one. And creating community does what? It creates oneness. And what is it that we use to create that oneness? Love. That's it in a nutshell. That is it in a nutshell. So let's take that thought and turn within.
Did you want it muted or unmuted? I want it, I don't.
We can turn that. Let me do the prayer first. Okay. As we turn within, let us just recognize that when we close out the outer world, when we close our eyes and we turn within, that we can sink into a place that allows us to touch consciousness. Keeping in mind that our subjective world is so filled with the past and the beliefs of the past. And yet we are learning something new. We are growing into something new. We are expanding into something new. And yet it is something that we know intuitively within ourselves. We know this truth within ourselves. We know it at the very core of our being, because the very core of who we are is the divine energy from which we have been created. And so we know it right now. We know this truth at the very depths of our being. And so right here and right now, I speak this word that which we know at the depths of our being is now exploding into like a well, gushing forth water, spilling out into all of our lives. And that knowingness, that intuitive knowingness within us, that love that has been stored within, that which has been kept down, held down, and not allowed to be expressed, is right now crashing through our consciousness on the conscious level and allowing us to begin living lives that are beyond our imagination. Because why? Because we are unlimited in who we are and what we can be. And so we are open right here and right now. We are available to this thought. We are available to this idea, because each one of us, those of us in the sound of my voice, whether you're here today or listening later, there is a knowingness within you that says, I am one with the divine energy, with the very lifeblood that is the very core of who and what we are, that I am one with everyone because I am energy. And that energy is showing up in a multitude of forms, and I am one of them. And so I can easily, comfortably embrace all of humanity, and that I am willing to do whatever it is needed and necessary in order to embrace everyone and everything, because that is who we are. That is the very essence of our being. That love is who we are. All we are doing is turning our attention so that we feel it, we know it, and we experience it at the very depths of our being, and then express it out into the world, opening, 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 making ourselves more and more available. I am knowing there is a truth within each one of us that is right here and right now, being touched, being opened, becoming aware, and allowing a new vibration of life and love and joy and peace and harmony and abundance and all the goodness of life to burst forth. Because why? That is the wellspring of truth within us. It is what we each and every one desire, regardless of where we are on the planet, where we are in time and space. We all want love. Why? Because we all are love. And so we rejoice this day that we know this truth. We rejoice this day that because we know this, we can choose it, we can be it, and we can live it. And so with gratitude, I release this word, knowing that we each one are expressing it in our own way, being fully and completely that which we choose to be. And so it is. Amen. Okay, now Cynthia.
Okay. We were just a little early. We were eager.
Yes,
What
I
a-
see that. That's good.
What a great message. I love that message so much. And we have been one on Zoom for a long time, but we're going to be one in person soon. And we have a song for you called I'll Meet You There. There's a place I often go where I find peace and ease my soul. Come on, everybody, I'll meet you there. It's a place that clears my mind, so close it's not hard to find. Come on, everybody, I'll meet you there. I'll meet you in the morning before the world begins. Give up that same old story and start all over again. I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there. It's a feeling I can't describe, a destination you'll recognize. So come on, everybody, I'll meet you there. It's the gift we most resist. That's how we know it's the place to go. So come on, everybody, I'll meet you there. I'll meet you in the morning before the world begins. Give up that same old story and start all over again. And I'll meet you there. We'll meet you all there. I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there. Let's take this party to the street. Shake it up and move your feet. Come on, everybody. Oh yeah, I'll meet you there. I'll meet you in the morning before the world begins. Give up that same old story and start all over again. I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there. Yes, pretty soon. I'll meet you there. Woo! Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, we will meet you there. All right, thanks. All right, Dorothea.
Yes. This is the time we come into our service for our conscious giving. There are 3 ways to give. You can go through PayPal, which should be in the description box, or you can go through Amazon Smile, which is a charity organization that Amazon and CSL West Georgia partners with. Amazon Smile has a charity and we're part of it. And whenever you're shopping, Amazon generously gives us a small portion of your spending and donates it back to us. And it doesn't interfere with your purchase at all. So it's a wonderful way to give. Another way to give is through mail. And Center for Spiritual Living West Georgia, the address is right there on the screen. So we have 3 ways, and it's wonderful through PayPal, Amazon Smile, and Postal Service. Our giving affirmation. I am grateful for the divine givingness circulating abundantly through my life, my community, and my world. And so it is.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so Marcia, did you see my message? Okay, so Lily, we're gonna meet you on Fairborn Road. Not Thornton. Okay, all right. So Marcia, let me know when you're ready. Okay, so on October 12th, we're going to start Tuesday, which is a week from this Tuesday, we're going to start the Prosperity Plus 3 class. Okay, and so you might ask, why do we have these classes? Well, part of the reason was in today's talk, and that is because our subconscious has already been flooded with all these beliefs of separation, and we have to make changes in our consciousness. And we can't do that subconsciously. We can only do it consciously. And then we consciously make choices and drops it into our subconscious. And so these classes are to help us in dealing with our conscious level so that we can create a new subconscious experience, which is where our creation occurs. Okay, so so here's the thing. You do have a choice, and we are not subject to the whims of a precocious God, but we still subconsciously have these beliefs that interfere with our shifting to our new understanding. And so we take classes so that we can support ourselves in getting through those various levels of distress that have caused us in the past to have limitations in our life. So, Marcia? So in your newsletter that you got today is an announcement about our class, the Prosperity Plus 3 class. So we're going to go back to this other stuff, but right now we're talking about the class. Okay, and so you can just go there, and there is a little link down below. Scroll down just a bit there. All right, so there's a video of Mary explaining about the class, and then below that is the link that tells you how to that's where you register and sign up. Okay, very easy. Just go to that and sign up. Now here's the thing, if you want CDs, you need to sign up today, because we have to mail off for those, and they'll come to your house. If you want to use the digital version, it's going to come on your computer, and so you can wait to the last minute, but I wouldn't do that. You know, it's better to let people know that you're going to be coming to a class. I, for one, enjoy knowing who's going to be there. Okay, and so Marcia, I want to scroll up to the video. Can we play that video? Not that video, the video for the location. So Sandy has been just working her little self to the bone. Ronnie and her husband went out last week and helped a lot with getting the place ready. And Marcia has been working on getting sound stuff done. And Sandy was there on Thursday almost all day while the guy came and installed the internet. So this is the latest iteration. Well, almost the latest. There's a wall right there where the lady is in red. The wall, the lady in red, you would not see. Is that Sandy? Is that you? No. Okay.
No.
where the wall would be right where she is. You wouldn't be seeing her if the wall was there. But this was taken earlier in the week. Yeah. Okay. And then those curtains are going to be cleaned. But do you see above the curtains? There's glass windows up there. We have lots and lots of beautiful light, and those you have to be in the room to really see those windows. So I will let you be surprised when you get there. Okay, you can finish. Okay. So each week we're going to be loading a new video on. So be sure and go on to the newsletter and take a look and see what we have accomplished for that week. And I want to thank all of you who have begun to donate. People have begun to donate things so that the pulpit has been donated. We have some chairs that have been donated. We have office desks, and let's see what else, the credenza, some lamps, the soap for the bathrooms. So, you know, the thing is you better, you know, if you want to donate something, then please do go on that same newsletter. There's a link there for you to donate. We make it very easy. You just tell us what you want to donate, then you're led to a place where you can make payment, and then we are going to take whatever what you're doing basically is you're making a donation to the church, and you're designating how you want that to be used. So when you go on there, you can say, I want this to be used for, let me see what else is left. I can't think of, anyway, you see what's left. I can't think of right now what's left, but there are several things that still, you can still donate for, okay? All right, so that is our service for today. Thank you so much, Cynthia and Connie. We really appreciate great songs today. And Dorothea, good job on this. Thanks for bringing the ocean. It's so wonderful to see. Gloria and Barbara, Marty, Zizi, all you guys on the West Coast, thanks for getting up early. Appreciate it. Ken and Gloria, good to see you guys. They get on real early, so you can do that too, you know. Thanks, Mike, for being here today, and Kathy, thank you so very much for doing the reading. Good job, girl. That was a challenge, so did a good job. And Marcia, always thank you to you. And like I said, be sure to check the newsletter each week, because good things are always in there, and it's a way that we get to communicate with you. And the nice thing about having the internet, he also put in a phone. Guess what? We're going to have a phone that, you know, will be able to do prayers. So you can call up and say, hey, pray for this. Okay. We're growing, expanding, and we're really making ourselves into a community that can touch one another more easily. Okay. Video for today. I don't think we have any sound, Dorothea. I think there should be sound by now. Right. There we go.
When I look into the face of my enemy, I see my brother. I see my brother. When I look into the face of my enemy, I see my brother. I see my brother. When I look into the face of my enemy, I see my brother. I see my brother. When I look into the face of my enemy, I see my brother. I see my brother. Forgiveness is the garment of our courage, the power to make the peace we long to know. Open up our eyes to see the wounds that bind all of humankind. May our shattered hearts greet the dawn of light with charity and love. When I look into the face of my enemy, I see my brother. I see my brother. When I look into the face of my enemy, I see my brother. I see now. When I look into the face, I see now. I see now. I see my brother. I see my sister. I see my father. I see my mother. When I look into the face of my enemy, I see my brother. I see my brother.
I love that video. Thank you, Marcia, for that. Because notice that the belief in from the consciousness of oneness and love. So, Dorothea, our closing affirmation, please.
Our closing affirmation. We go forth today knowing that we are God's blessing in the world. Only good goes from us, only good comes to us, and so it is.
And so it is. All right. Thank you all so much for being here today. Go out and have a great day. And we'll see y'all next Sunday. Remember, you are creating the experiences that you are living through. Create good ones. Thanks, everybody.